your journey and you're trying to bring them up and they're a little bit more negative and they just don't get it.
Well, the thing is, we all have our own opinion, and there's always two types of people in the world: half empty, half full. However, I've read plenty of quotes. I'm sure you have as well. The optimist built the aeroplane or the parachute, and vice versa. Uh, um, the optimist built the parachute, and the pessimist built the aeroplane. Now, I don't know which way
Yeah.
that goes around, but either one of them built either one of them, yeah. And that's why we need both types of people in this world. It's the same in business. Somebody who's eager and who's keen could end up losing their money. If there was a partnership, a pessimistic person, an optimistic person, that would be the perfect business, because you would get, again, a happy medium of, right, is that good? Should we go all guns blazing? No, hold on a minute. If we go all guns blazing, this could happen. This might not work. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Have you had to leave anybody behind?
Of course, you have to. That it's a shame, and it's sometimes in the world of business and in the world of anything that you want to be successful at, you have to drop people out, and you have to cut off loose ends. If it's holding you back, you need to cut them off and push forward, because again, like, you need to be selfish, and there's plenty of times. And you know what? When you are becoming more successful and you're doing well, you soon see who your true friends are and who will help. And it actually makes that decision very easy. Like, some people something go, I could never get rid of this friend, or I could never get that friend. Now, there's been times where I was thinking like that about friends that I've cut off and I don't talk to anymore. And not that I don't talk to them anymore. We're just on different paths. I want to do different things.
And what about in terms of women? How do you find like a woman or a lady who's not just after your money?
Well, that takes a little bit of time. You've got to get to know them. After you've got to know them, then it's down to your own judgment, really, because anybody can put on a good act for however long, and anybody can be fooled. So again, it's not easy, but you've just got to go off of your own gut instinct in times like that.
Has there ever been a situation you've been in that you've learned from
I'm
this?
sure there's again, my entrepreneurial past of being up and down and trading with plenty of people, regardless of whether it been men or women, you get a feel for how people act and what, if they have ulterior motives, or what their actual motives are. You can work it out and you can sum it up. So I'd say I do have experience to see if something isn't quite right. Yeah, I do.
Do you think entrepreneurs are born or made?
I think both. Like, how they've first of all, they've got to be born and they've got to make themselves. So both, yeah, definitely.
But all of the stuff that you sort of learned from your parents and homeschooling, in a way, I'm not saying school brainwashes you, but school is there to get people through society, getting ready to work as a worker in these big organizations and businesses. But you've seemed to have not gone through that schooling education route. You've learnt of your granddad, who's, someone who's good in business, your dad who's good in business, and you've been around them people. You've learnt the art. It's almost like body language, how somebody's energy is, their aura, rather than like a robot or someone who's just gone through. I went to school today and I learnt about dinosaurs, and it's like, hey, hang on, how's that going to help you? You're like, well, I was in a van today and I went to try flog some of these rolls of tissues and stuff, and they said no to me. How do I make that work next time? Like, do you think there's a difference because you haven't gone fully through that education route?
Absolutely, because the reason it's beneficial to me that I didn't go through that educational route is because I started my businesses, or I started in the world of business when I was 16 properly. I had a limited company when I was 16, right, which is still growing, which is Best Park Homes, right, which is my mobile home park company.
Okay.
Which I have 2 mobile home parks at the moment, which will soon be a portfolio of 5, 6, 7. However, like I say, I started my business when I was 16. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but a business isn't supposed to be, or it's not usual. It's unusual for a business to be making a profit within the first 3 years. So if you come out of school and go through college and go to sixth form and you've started your business when you're 21 and it's not making a profit till you're 24, and I started my business when I was 16, it's just I've got 10 years worth of experience, 10 years worth of mistakes that can all help me today. And that's where I think it was beneficial. There's also so much education that I would have lost out on. But thankfully, how everything's planned out, I didn't even need the education that I've got. All I needed to do was be able to read and be all right with maths. And I'm actually very good, right? But all I needed to do was be able to read, which I learned to read and write through social media. And I needed to know how to do maths. That's all you need to do to be a good entrepreneur. Now, you have to learn a lot, and you're going to make mistakes and you're going to fail. And in the world of business, failing and not making it success is losing money, which none of us want to do. But with that 10 years worth of experience, it's going to set you up. Right? If you start at 21, 22, right? Any expert or superstar in their field, boxers, footballers, golfers, swimmers, runners, when do they start? They don't start when they're 21, 22. So there are people that do start late and do very well. However, most of them, if you got 100, only there'd be 5 of those. And it's the same in business. And that's what I try to be. I try to be a professional entrepreneur. And the thing is about an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur businessman because I love business and I love making money.
But you're a certain type of businessman, Alfie. Like what we're talking about, that's the trajectory people go on in terms of if they're starting at 16 or 23. But when I'm getting underneath the surface now, and like there's so much in the news and brainwashing. Like at school, if I was called fat, you're called fat.
Yeah.
It was just like you got called a name. It's okay. Now it's like your child will come home and go, I got body shamed today. They said that to me. I'm never gonna go to school again. It's like little bit of failure and they don't know how to combat it. It's like society looks like it's getting weaker and weaker. And it looks like you've got something different in terms of to become an entrepreneur, you've got to be quite solid underneath the skin. There's a lot of stuff that you take in every single day that you just walk straight through. Whereas other people, 1-2 stones come and they were like, no, I'm giving up on this business, or they keep saying no to me. Like, what is that difference in you think?
Well, I'll be honest with you. This country it doesn't want entrepreneurs. It doesn't want them. There's everything put in place for you not to start a business, not to help, for you not to start a business. And if you want, the way I see it, and this is only my opinion, I think the government pretty much teach you, or they're trying to teach you from a young age, how your life's going to be. Like, the school teaches the government and you abide by our rules, and that's how it's got to happen. And all your money, we want 40% of it. And I understand tax. I believe I live in a country, and I do. You owe a tax. Do you know what I mean? I owe a duty for that, for living in a country in a beautiful place. I understand it's been going on for years, but what we get charged here is ridiculous. We get bled 40% on personal income tax. It's like, but how that? Listen, now again, you have to get over that and think, right, well, I'm going to have to go and make more money then, or I'm going to make a better business. But people look at this before they even start. And that's why there is a lot of people that don't even start. It's not that they start and failed. They don't even bother. They look and think, oh, forget it. But I do genuinely believe that schools are very much set up like how a lot of people are living outside of school. You abide by our rules. You do what we tell you to do. And it's as simple as that.
Some high profile people say, I want to give my kids the best education, private schooling, extra tuition, maybe piano lessons, give them as much as possible at a young age, challenges. But how do you also get that balance of, hey, hang on, that isn't everything. Come here. We've also got business, or I want to introduce you to a friend who has a business. How do you get that right balance?
To be honest with you, I believe that the best thing about the education of what you just said about parents want to give their kids the best education, I don't think it really makes a difference between a good school and a bad school. I think wherever you go, they're pretty much going to learn how to read, how to write, how to do maths, which is very basic stuff, which that's all I believe. I think, from then on in, we've got our own mind. we move on to whatever we want to learn or move forward. How many people go through school and actually use what they've learned in primary school, apart from reading or writing, in the industry that they get involved in? Not much. Has Henry VIII ever been brought up to you? Did you get taught him in school?
Yeah.
You did. Okay then. I don't even know some math sums what they have on a board. I couldn't even tell you what they look like. But have you ever come up against a math sign where you've got to do 5 squared?
Simultaneous equations? No, I never used
No,
it before.
we haven't. No, exactly. This is what I'm saying. So we learn to read and write. We learn to do maths, and that's what does set us up